is starting to get really interesting with U.S. immigration. Can Donald Trump give you a green? Hey guys, before you file for your spouse, hey guys, come on in. Type in Freedom Now. Freedom Now. We're going to have our Monday live news and Q&A show. I have some good news to share with you, and this one, your good news, as a matter of fact, so that we could end today's show on a live, on a very high note, I should say. I hope you guys had a terrific holiday weekend for those of you who are here in the United States. I hope that you had a terrific July 4th weekend. Type in Freedom Now. And if you're joining live on Facebook, be sure to share this with your feed, okay? I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law, where we believe in freedom, okay? Freedom is what drives us, and we're here because of our deep core belief that everyone should be free. And nowadays we're seeing a lot of crazy things with immigration, but there is still some good work and good news that is happening these days. So come on in and type in Freedom Now. We could be reached at 914-898-9488 or at info@mcbeanlaw.com. Follow us. Be sure to follow us as well, guys, on Instagram and TikTok, so that you'll be in the loop on all of the content. Oh my goodness, a lot of content, a lot of information that we've been sharing with you guys these days. Come on in, type in Freedom Now, and also let us know where you're joining from. This session is being moderated. So please, we ask, as usual, to be respectful in your comments and do not spam. Thank you all for being here today. We're going to just dive right in, okay? We're going to dive right in and firstly cover some key immigration news. The first big thing that you guys need to really be aware of is the fact that with this big, beautiful bill that passed and was signed into law on July 4th by President Trump, it's going to impact obviously everyone, but more specifically, it will also impact green card holders and legal immigrants. In a Newsweek article, it talked about the fact that the One Big Beautiful Bill, OBBB, introduces major policy changes that affect lawful permanent residents, refugees, domestic violence survivors, and visa holders by limiting their access to health benefits and imposing a new tax on remittances that are sent abroad. 2 million folks could lose their health coverage, and these are individuals who are green card holders, refugees, and others. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the Big Beautiful Bill could leave 11.8 million more Americans uninsured by 2034, as we've discussed, including 1.3 million lawfully present immigrants. Now, the bill, as you guys know, would strip access to federal health subsidies, Medicaid, and even ACA tax credits for many immigrant groups. Again, we're talking about low-income green card holders, refugees, and domestic violence survivors. Only specific groups, some individuals from Cuba, Haiti, and Pacific Island nations would remain eligible for federal benefits. There's also a 1% tax. 1% tax that will be imposed on you, those of you who send money abroad via Western Union or MoneyGram. And this particular tax targets immigrant families who regularly send money to support loved ones, while supporters claim that this will boost the federal boost federal revenue, critics argue it disproportionately burdens low and middle income workers. And then, guys, as you know, and this can potentially touch green card holders and others who are in lawful status here in the United States. ICE is slated to receive $45 billion to expand its detention capacity to 100,000 beds, in addition to $14 billion for transportation and deportations. The agency also received $8 billion to hire 10,000 new deportation officers. And so this signals a dramatic escalation in enforcement and detention activities under the Trump immigration agenda. So these are some of the issues that green card holders, in addition to other legal residents, other folks who are legally here in the United States, like visa holders and others, should be aware of. Secondly, guys, you might have heard, and we've talked about this in the past as well, that let's go ahead and get that one recorded. The first one wasn't recorded. President Trump has also been talking about a plan for farm workers, migrant farm workers. There was quite a bit of flip-flopping, as you guys are aware of, that went on recently, in which he said, oh, we'll do something for farm workers. We won't have ICE go out and conduct these worksite raids of these agricultural fields. And then a few days later, the raids were back on, and then they were paused again. And so what President Trump is talking about doing these days is, and this is an article out of News Nation, and some of you might have seen him talk about this via video as well on TikTok. He is planning on carving out something that will not be a path to citizenship or a path to permanent residency. I don't know what this will be quite yet. It says here that Trump's proposal does not offer citizenship or permanent status, but it would shield migrant workers from workplace raids and detention by ICE. This means workers could continue contributing to farms without fear of deportation. Under the plan, farmers would have the power to support the continued presence of migrant workers. Trump emphasized that if a farmer trusts and values a worker, that should be enough to allow them to stay in the United States. And this is only targeting, again, those who work in agriculture. I know in the past he had also made statements about those in the hospitality industry and restaurant workers. But this, from what I understand, whatever this carve out or protection or shield that they're creating, it doesn't reach other workers. From what I understand so far, we'll see. As you guys know, quite a bit of farm workers we know, right? We know immigrants. In 2023, farming added 223 million to the GDP, and an estimated 86% of U.S. agricultural workers are foreign born, and many of them are undocumented. So President Trump acknowledged the critical labor shortage in agriculture, noting that we don't have too many people that can do that. I think we all know that, right? We all knew that. Now, so let's continue to watch and see what they're going to potentially carve out for farmers. And of course, there's legislation that is on Capitol Hill that have been reintroduced every cycle, every Congress, that would carve out something more long-term for farm workers. And, none of that has become law yet. So it would be good for the White House to actually look back on what Congress had put together, these proposals, and say, okay, let's advance this one. Now let's go to the next big piece of news that you guys might have also heard about, and it's the fact that at least that judges have rejected the deportation of pro-Palestinian students. As you guys know, earlier in the spring, the administration was really going after various pro-Palestinian advocates and students here in the United States. And people like Mahmoud Khalil was in detention for months, and others were detained, but for a shorter period of time and then later released. At least 5 federal judges have recently blocked the deportation of foreign-born student activists, calling the Trump administration's efforts unconstitutional and a threat to free speech. And these are students who were targeted at various universities like Harvard, NYU, and Rutgers University, and a lawsuit by the American Association of Professors, along with various chapters from those universities, filed a lawsuit claiming that the administration's actions are chilling academic freedom and interfering with lawful speech by targeting those students on visas and green cards. And this the arrest and threats of deportation have caused widespread fear among foreign students and scholars. So this is actually good news for now. We know that a lot of this will eventually make its way to the Supreme Court, maybe for further action. And then lastly, I think this is the last one. Okay, yeah, and then this is the last one, friends. You guys might have also heard about, or this is really an update about those men who were I believe they're now in South Sudan, right? You guys know that the administration had been trying to deport several men who committed very serious crimes, and they served their time in prison here in the United States, and the Trump administration was trying to send them to a third country, South Sudan, and their case was held up in court, and they were held in Djibouti for the last several weeks, waiting the outcome of their case, and the Supreme Court ultimately sided with the Trump administration, overriding prior court orders that required notice and interviews before deporting individuals to third-party countries. And these men they're from places like Cuba, Mexico, Laos, Myanmar, Sudan, and Vietnam. And these countries, like Laos, for instance, and Vietnam, they do not accept deportees, okay? And so South Sudan is where they are currently, from what I understand. And South Sudan said, we will give them some sort of immigration status. They're not going to be detained here. And that's how that happened. And so you guys might have also heard that the administration is looking for to make contracts with other countries to do something very similar. DHS defended the deportation as a national security action and calls it a victory for the safety and security of the American people. And again, South Sudan has agreed to grant the men temporary immigration status and assured the U.S. that they will not be detained upon arrival. And guys, this story, I've been tracking it because I'm also concerned very much about the fact that President Trump is also calling for the deportation of US-born citizens to third countries. He's made statements, and he's continuing to make these statements, saying things like, if they're criminals, hit people over the head with a baseball bat, push people into a subway. We don't want them in our country. We'll bring them to El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala. We'll bring them to foreign countries. And he's speaking specifically of U.S. citizens, including U.S.-born citizens. So this is why this is elevated. Okay? Very much so. All right, so now with that being said, we're going to go right into your Q&As. I'm going to turn it over to you guys in the chat now to see what questions you have. Thank you guys again for being with me. All right, the first question, let's format this properly. Good afternoon. If your working permit expired and you're waiting on a green card, can you get an ID? Can you get an ID? Okay, so if you're if you've applied for a green card, let's just do this. If you've applied for a green card through adjustment of status and you've filed also the form I-765 for your work permit connected to that green card, you'll get that work permit. And if that permit has expired, you can file for a renewal using the same form, okay? Using the same form. Hey there, May from Chicago. Good to see you. Let's see, my screen is a little different here today. Let's get this over here. All right, let's go down. Type in, guys, freedom now. And also, if you have good news to share with us, go ahead and put them in the chat. We do have several good news that we're going to share your good news towards the end of today's broadcast. Go ahead and type in your good news and encourage others that immigration is still working. Cases are still being approved. I'd love to be able to pull up your story. Let's see. Val says that my wife came in on a tourist visa when she was 5 years old. She's now 35 and is married to me, a natural born citizen. I filed the I-130 back in November. Can she be deported while waiting for the approval of the I-130? Okay, so Val, she has the right to have that I-130, a decision be made on the I-130. Can she be detained by ICE during this time? Well, yeah, that's possible, right? If they target her for any reason, I don't know what reason they could possibly target her for, but if they target her, then she can be detained, and then at that point, a fight can certainly be started to have her released on bond. And also just know that if they do target her, they will place her in deportation proceedings through a notice to appear process, and she'll have the right to take her case before an immigration judge. And usually that process is very lengthy. She's been in the country for a very long time. She's not subject to fast track expedited deportation, not at all. And so she'll have her day in court if it goes down that road. There are, just so you guys know, there are so many hundreds of thousands, I think maybe I-130s and such pending at USCIS. The government is not targeting all of these individuals for being placed in detention. I believe your wife will be fine as she's going through this process through you. So continue the process and she'll be okay. Okay, guys, freedom now. Freedom now. Thank you for being with me today. Let's go down here. Marilyn says, my two nephews got their 2-year green card last week by marriage. Can they travel? Individuals can travel on their 2-year conditional residency green card. Yes, they can travel, but it's always at your own risk because, of course, if they have a criminal background, that could be a problem, certainly at the airport. But yes, for the most part, they can travel. All right, let's go down here. My brother entered the United States illegally. Now he's married to a U.S. citizen. Will he be able to get his green card? Well, normally an illegal entry does not allow an individual to get a green card through a spouse, but there is a way that it can happen. The spousal process can be continued overseas at a U.S. embassy abroad. That's how it happens for most of these individuals. If he came in through a parole process, then he will be able to adjust his status. But if it wasn't through one of the parole process, he will not be able to adjust his status. And just so you know, when individuals show up at the border and they don't have any paperwork, that is considered illegal entry, and they will not be able to adjust through the spouse. There are other ways that they could adjust. For instance, they could adjust through a VAWA case if they were married to a U.S. citizen and that person abused him or her, then they could adjust their status. Or if they have a certain very close relative who is a member of the military, they could then get a parole in place to be able to adjust their status. But most everyone else will not be able to adjust their status. Okay. Let's see. Let's go down here. How worried should green card holders be about HR 875, which I've discussed? This is the DUI bill, which is now pending still over on the Senate side. I haven't checked in on things at the Senate, but you guys know through our previous broadcasts and certainly by reading the news yourself that it passed the House. How worried should green card holders be? I think the concern for green card holders, if this does become the law, will be during the naturalization phase. It's at that point that I think that HR 875 will be a problem for some green card holders. Is it safe to travel within America at the airport while waiting or going through the green card process? I have not heard any stories, professionally speaking, that have come through our consultation calendar or meetings we've had with new clients that they're having problems. And then also people whose cases we have filed and we're waiting. I have not heard about any problems that they're having being stopped at an airport during a domestic travel, so long as you have the type of ID that can get you on board an airplane and to fly around the United States. I think most people are fine. There are other videos. I see them, which others are saying what they're saying, and I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay. Let's see. Freedom Now, guys. Thank you, Michael. Michael is one of our, Michael is moderating for us today. Appreciate your help. Michael says, watching live from Best Immigration, work with the Best Immigration with the latest update. But please like and share, guys. Please keep comments respectful. I can read, guys. I assure you, I can read. It was one of those moments. Okay, let's go down. But thank you, Michael. I agree with you. Keep comments respectful and like and share this. Let's see. Freedom Now, Shaka. Is it safe to travel on a cruise with my green case status? I'm going to the Bahamas. Green card holders can travel. I've done so many videos about the fact that they can travel. Do not travel, not even on a cruise or on an airplane, if you are a green card holder who plan to stay outside of the country for 6 months or longer, unless you have a reentry permit. And then certainly if you're in removal proceedings, green card holders, you know who you are. Definitely do not leave the country. And if you have a serious criminal record, and I'm saying it generally like that, really a criminal record, do not travel as well, because some green card holders with a criminal record are having a bad time at the airport. But you will still be allowed in. It's just that you might be placed in removal proceedings. Prince says, I filed the form I-130 and the I-485 form, knowing that TPS is going to be terminated in a few months. Would that affect my case? No, you'll be fine with, this is going to be hopefully a smooth transition for you from a TPS to lawful permanent residency status. You should not face any challenges despite the fact that TPS is ending. And you say you filed both the I-130 and I-485 together, hoping that obviously you're eligible to adjust your status. And if you're eligible for adjustment of status, you'll be able to get your green card that way. Okay. Type in Freedom Now, guys. Okay. Um, let's go down a little bit. I do see a success here from Khaled JLA. We'll take note of that. He says, I'll share it. Pending asylum, I got my green card through marriage. No interview last month. That's terrific. Congratulations. That's great. I have renewed my work permit 4 months ago for 5 years. What will happen now? What type of case? I'm assuming, is this a marriage case that you have? What happens after this is, if it's a marriage case, what will happen is the government is likely to call you in for an interview. And after the interview, if all goes well, your case can be approved. All right. I forgot to share with you guys the agenda of today's show. The format is a little different. I'm doing the news first, the top news first, and then I'm going into your Q&As. Then I will share some trending and react to some trending videos and share your good news stories at the end. So just stick around all the way until the end. And if you missed the beginning of today's broadcast, we're going to obviously have it available for you on YouTube. So watch the beginning to get all of the latest news that I've shared. Let's go down a little bit. Mike says, why is USCIS now sending out RFEs for VAWA based I-765s? A lot of people are talking about this on Reddit. I'm not sure why USCIS is doing that. I have not kept up with that, so I have no idea why they're doing that. I know that for the VAWA cases, USCIS have, well, they shifted under the Biden administration to drill down more on VAWA cases due to fraud that they've seen with the VAWA cases. So as far as these RFEs, I'm not certain what they're looking for, because they did something kind of similar to individuals with H-1B until there was litigation to stop some of the weird RFEs that they were sending out to some H-1B visa holders. I'm not sure what's going on here with this one. If I hear anything or come across it in my line of work, I'll be sure to share about this again next time we're live. Okay, let's go down here. If you are caught and detained and you have no criminal record, can you be bailed out? I'm from California here. So you might be able to get a bond. Yes, you might be bonded out. You have to show that you're not a flight threat. You're not going to leave. You're not going to go and hide somewhere else. There are ways that ICE deal with that issue as well. It just depends on the ICE office. For some ICE office, they might place an ankle monitor on some individuals who they think could potentially be a flight risk, but most everyone else, they're not, because most people are already quite settled here and they will cooperate with the process if they are ever detained and then placed in removal proceedings. But yes, you would most likely be a good candidate to get a bond. My sister is a naturalized U.S. citizen. She forgot to add a speeding ticket to her N400, but told the officer at the interview, and the officer told her that it's no big deal, it's inconsequential due to the fact that it's under $500. She's concerned. Should she be? I don't think she should be concerned, because this is something that she disclosed during the interview. People make mistakes with the applications all the time. This is a very common issue, and they make the correction there, and the officer didn't really care about it, but still, it's on the record now, and so I wouldn't worry. She shouldn't worry too much about it. Let's go down here. Guys, let us know where today you're watching from and interact in the chat. Don't just passively watch. Interact in the chat. Tell us where you're watching from. And if you have any good news to share with us, go ahead and put it in the chat so that we could celebrate with you. All right. And certainly continue to type in Freedom Now and hit that heart button. Give us some hearts and likes. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. Someone says that I have been waiting for my I-45 adjustment of status since 2022. So my first question to you is, where are you located? Because even in some certain jurisdictions are still kind of slow, okay? And then also, what happened along the way? Did you also get some sort of request for evidence? Were you interviewed? And then you're still waiting, because for some people they interview and then it's like they come to a hard stop. Immigration just doesn't reach out to them for years, because for some people there's an investigation that's going on. So it really depends on what's going on, what has happened so far in your journey with immigration. You could you can meet with us so that we could unpack this and see whether your case, whether a mandamus would be necessary for you to force the next move by immigration in this case. Let's see. Does the big beautiful bill touch U visa applications? It doesn't. Shoot, that's a great question, because I know that there are quite a bit of filing fee increases and such that are part of big beautiful bill. And do I have what you can do? And I'm asking my colleague to share there's a YouTube video, a live session that I did with all of that goes into all of the fee hikes related to the big beautiful bill. I don't specifically remember whether it touched EU visa applicants or not. I do know that it touched obviously asylum applicants, TPS applicants, and some others. But as far as you is concerned, I'm not quite sure, but I might have mentioned it in my live session from several weeks ago. If we're able to find that link, we'll put it here in the chat for you. Or you could just go search on McBean Immigration TV later today. Let's go down a little bit. Okay, let's see. If I'm a if U.S. citizen, should we be worried about traveling overseas, whether with a criminal background or not? No, U.S. citizens should not be worried about international travel or domestic travel. I lost my green card, but I do have a photo of it. Can I use that? Rodney is asking. A copy is, I'm not sure in what context, Rodney, you'd want to use this. In most cases, it would be fine, but I'm not certain what your context is here. By the way, the big beautiful bill, as you guys know, would now require work permits to be renewed every 6 months, and a new filing fee will need to be paid. I have not seen any instructions come out yet about how this might impact those of you who have a 5-year work permit or a shorter work permit. I have no idea quite yet how that's going to play out. Once those instructions come out from USCIS, I'll be sure to cover it with you. I've been waiting for my 2 years for the I-751 removal of conditions to be approved. Can I apply for the N-400 now? You could apply for the N-400 if you're still together in unity with your spouse, of course, and you've reached the 2.9-year mark of being a resident. Okay, so it sounds like you're there. Let's see. Freedom Now. Good. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Someone says, I had gotten a deportation notice a long time ago, but now I am a U.S. citizen. I've been a citizen since 2016. Can I travel to the Philippines for vacation? I'm just going to say something that sounds absurd to some people, but not to me. Um, was that deportation order fully taken care of, right? Was it fully taken care of and completely terminated? Very important. Because sometimes, of course, it's possible for people to get a deportation order in another name, an alias that they gave the government and many years ago, and it's possible for that same individual to then get a green card and potentially naturalizes. Normally, they would catch this type of error during naturalization, but I don't know. Sometimes mistakes do happen. So you want to make sure before you leave the United States that certainly that deportation order was fully taken care of. And if it was, then you should have nothing to worry about as you travel internationally, okay? Guys, type in freedom now. I'm going to answer just a few more questions before we transition. Again, guys, if you have good news about your case, drop it in the chat below because we would love to celebrate with you. If you have a work permit that was approved, a green card, a naturalization application was approved, or if your spouse or partner is now here or something, someone has a visa, got, approved, maybe a student visa, you passed the new scrutiny and you had gotten your student visa to come to the United States for the fall semester. Whatever the story is, be sure to just share it just to brighten up another person's day. We'd love to celebrate with you. Let's see. Go down a little bit. Let's see. Hold on a second. Is the U.S. Embassy open for people waiting for residency in Haiti, please? So, Jose, I don't know if today it's open. I don't know what the status is. That embassy has been closed for a very long time. It's highly unpredictable. It's very the dangerous conditions there. So, what Haitians who need to consular process have been doing is they've been going to another country. They've been going to Barbados. The DR is very difficult to get into now, but they have to go through a third. Some folks actually go to South America, and they're processed through Chile, the embassy there. So you could speak with an immigration attorney about the situation specifically there in Haiti and options for being processed through another country, because that's really what it's going to take to really get through. Let's go down a little bit here. Type in freedom now, guys. Let's go down. What if a permanent resident has a green card that has expired and they have misdemeanors? Should they be worried about being deported? Well, what type of misdemeanor? Is it a domestic violence misdemeanor? Is it a crime that involves even a child? What type of misdemeanor are we talking about here? Because certain misdemeanors can, in fact, get individuals deported. Also, is it a theft-related misdemeanor? Because the law has changed and theft-related offenses are treated very differently today. So it just truly depends on the case. But I don't want you to be worried about being deported. Speak with one-on-one with us to have us take a look at whether you should go ahead and get it renewed, your green card renewed or not, or whether you should even apply for naturalization, right? We will carefully guide you in that manner. All right, type in freedom now, guys. Let's see if I could take a couple more questions. Let's go down. Okay, so here's someone who says that they had done the biometrics. They went through the alien registration process, did my biometrics appointment 2 weeks ago, and a few hours later, I received a notice on my account that noted proof of alien registration. I wonder what's gonna come next. Viewer says here with an anxious emoji. So you what could come next? I'm not sure what they're gonna do. They might not do anything. Nothing might happen next for you. I only know about how things happen under the NSEERS process post 9/11, and that quite a bit of individuals who were forced to register back then from certain Middle Eastern and Muslim-oriented countries, majority countries, were placed in removal proceedings. Some people were detained and placed in removal proceedings. Under this administration, I think they might target some individuals who have registered, but the Registration Act has been around for many, many years. It is the law. If you're highly concerned about whether you should register, you could speak one-on-one with an attorney, but I will tell you this, it's a very big ethical issue for attorneys. Speaking with and advising clients with regard to the Alien Registration Act, but you know what the law is, and speak one-on-one with someone about the process. Okay. Is it safe for green card holders to travel to Mexico? Yes, I think it is safe to go on vacation to Mexico for most green card holders. Like I said recently, green card holders can travel. What are the I-751 interviews looking like nowadays? So the I-751 removal of conditions interview, you're going to go there with your spouse. If you go there with your spouse, most likely you'll be fine. They're going to take you through the run-of-the-mill questions about your marriage. They could go back to the beginning, how you guys met. They'll look at some of the evidence that you've provided as a couple, and if they think that something is missing, they'll issue you an RFE right after that interview. If you apply for naturalization, both of those could be approved at the same time, and you could walk away a U.S. citizen. And that is still happening. If you file this as a waiver on your own, make sure that you certainly have an attorney who is with you at your interview, who prepared you for the interview, because the USCIS these days, they are placing individuals in removal who are going through the I-751 process, and we're seeing a lot more of those cases coming to our docket here at McBean Law. So make sure that your waiver case is done properly if you're going to go in on this on your own. All right. So great questions today. Great questions. Let's just get this out of the way for a little bit. Really good questions. And actually, I want to take, we're all together on TikTok and YouTube and social media. We're all seeing the same content, but I wanted to share two particular pieces of content with you today. Things that you should be, one that will make you kind of feel good, and I want to feel good too, so I want to watch it with you. And then the other is about Ice Block, which is an app that was created a few months ago to track the work of ICE in the community. And I'm going to share with you guys a trending video, okay, about Ice Block that, again, I really think you should know about this resource.
Joining us now is Joshua Aaron, the developer behind a new app called Ice Block, which allows people to share information about ICE sightings in their area. Josh, you launched this app back in April, and it encourages users to, quote, see something, tap something when they see ICE agents nearby. Can you explain how the app works and why you wanted to create it?
Absolutely. So I wanted to create it because when I saw what was happening in this country, after reading Project 2025, after watching Trump's first administration, and certainly hearing his campaign rhetoric on the trail for the second, I had to do something to fight back. And, being raised in a Jewish household and growing up in that community, I had the opportunity to meet Holocaust survivors and learn all about the history of Nazi Germany and Hitler's rise to power. And when we see 5-year-olds in courtrooms without representation, when we see college students being disappeared for their political beliefs, and even worse, when we see babies being ripped from their mother's arms while they're screaming for their children in the name of patriotism in this country, I really think we're watching history repeat itself. And Ice Block was about the best way I could think of to fight back.
Josh, are you not concerned that the administration might come after you personally for the development of this app?
I think whenever you push back against a regime that is purporting authoritarianism, pushing fascism, and subverting the rule of law in our Constitution, if you push back against them, you have to know they're going to come after you in some way. And I say, go ahead, come after me. You can demonize me all you want. You can demonize the app all you want. But the reality is it's protected speech under the First Amendment. There's nothing illegal about creating this app, and there's nothing illegal about using the app. We are not purporting violence against anybody. This is simply an early warning system. And if your viewers liken it to something easy to understand, think of Waze or think of Apple Maps. When you can report a speed trap up ahead, what do? You slow down when you see that warning. And this is the same kind of thing. So if you see a warning that ICE has been cited, just turn around and keep yourself and your family safe.
All right. So, yes, ICE Block, over 95,000 users have downloaded this, and what some people, so folks are using this, and then what others are doing more informally is they're just grabbing their phone and they're saying, hey, don't go on Flatbush Avenue and, Church Avenue, Flatbush and Church Avenue, right? Because there's there's presence of ICE in this particular community here in Brooklyn, New York. So people are doing it more informally, but here you have an app that was created that folks can download and share the information in this manner. And of course, the administration is saying that this places agents at risk. But I think certainly people need to be aware of what's going on in their community. And then, guys, I have another one that I'm going to share with you. And this one just touched my heart when someone on my team shared it with me. This shows that it's really one of those feel-good videos that make you kind of believe in humanity again, right? That not everyone in the United States is really looking to get immigrants and want them out of the country. Take a listen. All right. Oh, that pizza looked good from the car. You guys might have seen that video circulating on TikTok. All right. So now I just would love to end on a very high note, sharing some of your success stories. Thank you guys so much for sharing your stories. And this is the first good news story from Shiraku. Shirokuro 73. I filed my N400 on April 4th. On May 22nd, they gave me an interview date of July 10th. Of course, I still have to have the interview and hopefully get approved, but I was shocked with how fast they gave me an interview date. Awesome. Congratulations. Keep us posted once you are approved for naturalization. And then DuBois 2021 says, I overstayed my visa in 2021. I got married in 2024 and I got my green card in June 2025. Awesome. And then lastly, guys, from Khalili 23, I got my I-130 and I-485 approved, which is the green card. It was super fast. It took us only 4.5 months. Also, the immigration official was incredibly kind and polite. I was out of status for several years, but I came here with with an exchange visa, and then I had a student visa for many years. We got approved. My husband, son, and me are finally ready to travel. Congratulations. That's awesome. We love it. We love it. We celebrate with you all. And guys, if you have any more success stories, drop them below. I'll be sure to share your stories in the next one. We covered a lot today. But I hope that you found this information helpful and useful to you guys. Be sure to share this with others. Follow me again on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, of course, so that you will be in the loop on all of the information that I share each day. Really, it's not even week, it's day. Immigration is fast moving. Thanks so much, guys, for being with me today in this one. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good afternoon. Bye bye.